There's one number that predicts whether your HOA will hit you with a surprise $5,000 bill and almost no homeowner ever checks it. It's not your monthly dues, it's your reserve fund. Understand this one thing and you'll understand more about your community's finances than most of the board members. Let's break it down. So what exactly is a reserve fund? Think of your HOA as owning a bunch of things that all wear out on a schedule. The roof lasts maybe 20 to 30 years. Asphalt roads, 15 to 25. Exterior paint, 7 to 10. Pool equipment, fencing, elevators, clubhouses, every one of them has a lifespan and a replacement cost. The reserve fund is the association's savings account for those future replacements. Instead of getting slammed with the full cost the day the roof fails, the HOA sets aside money every year so the cash is ready when the bill comes due. That's the whole idea. Save gradually now, avoid a crisis later. Here's where the reserve study comes in. A reserve study is a professional inventory of every major component the HOA is responsible for, how long each one will last, and what it'll cost to replace, and how much the association should be setting aside to stay on track. Good associations update it every few years because prices and conditions, they change. Now, the number you want to know is the percent funded. This compares how much money the reserve fund actually has against how much it ideally should have at this point in time. So if the study says that you have $1 million or that you should have $1 million saved up based on the age of your components, and you actually have $700,000, you're 70% funded. What's a healthy number? There's no magic threshold, but generally the higher the percent funded, the lower the risk of a special assessment. Associations in the strong range, often cited as roughly 70% and above, they tend to weather those big projects without emergency bills. Below about 30%, the risk of a special assessment, it climbs significantly. Somewhere in the middle is common, and the direction it's trending matters as much as the number itself. So let me be clear about what percent funded is not. It's not a guarantee. A community at 100% funded can still face a surprise if something unexpected happens. A storm, a construction defect, an insurance shock, and a community at 60% isn't necessarily doomed. But as a risk indicator, it's one of the best single numbers that you have. Why should you as a homeowner care so much? There's 3 reasons. First, your wallet. Strong reserves means surprise assessments are less likely, and when they happen, they're generally smaller. Second, your home's value. Buyers and lenders increasingly scrutinize reserve health, and weak reserves can make your home harder to sell or to finance. Third, there's fairness. When reserves are underfunded, today's owners are essentially passing the bill to whoever owns the home when the roof finally fails. Solid reserves keep that fair across time. Here's how funding approaches differ briefly. Some associations aim to be fully funded, saving the full recommended amount. Others use threshold funding, keeping the reserves above a chosen minimum safe balance. And others, they just cash flow it, funding only what's needed year to year and hoping that nothing hits early. That last approach is the riskiest, and it's where surprise assessments live. So what should you do? Request your association's reserve study and find 2 things: the percent funded and whether that number is climbing or sliding. Then look at the annual reserve contribution and ask whether it matches what the study recommends. If contributions are consistently below the recommendation, the gap, it doesn't go away. It just waits for you. Understanding reserves put you ahead of nearly every other owner in your community. In upcoming videos, we will decode exactly what 70% funded means and how to read these documents line by line. Subscribe so you don't miss out. And if your board needs a clear, honest reserve and funding plan, that's what I do at Aligned Impact. My name is Jay Boykin. Links are below. See you in the next video.